Hello, this is the first of two videos that we will show briefly describing the process of housing selection for the upcoming year. The first step in this process is selecting a roommate, or if necessary, selecting multiple roommates. This is a process that should be completed prior to your housing selection so that you're able to view all of the rooms that are available for you to choose. We will walk through a few specific areas such as the CNAV system and how to select a roommate. At this point in your time at Gettysburg College, you should be fairly familiar with how to log into CNAV. To begin this process of selecting a roommate and then later selecting your room, what you'll need to do is log into CNAV and at the top left corner, ensure that you do the drop down that goes to My Housing. When you select My Housing on CNAV, your page should look similar to this. This is a made-up page with some information on it, but should display some of the things that you're looking at. Initially, what you're going to notice is that when you log on after you have been informed that lottery numbers and times have been released, you'll see down here the start time as well as your number. Students are able to select roommates prior to their start time, but are unable to select a room until at the moment that is listed on the page and any time after that. First, I want to review the process of selecting only one roommate. This is done when a student is particularly looking at a space to live on campus for the next year in which they'll be living in a double. These are our traditional halls such as Musselman Hall, some of our rooms in Stephen, and our motels. And this is the case where you singularly want one other roommate and then you're not looking for necessarily an apartment or triple, but just one other person to live with. Once again, we're back to the CNAV My Housing page specifically for your account. This is where you'll need to log in to begin selecting your roommates. You'll notice at the top of the screen that there's these three bars. If you click those three bars, it'll provide up this screen on the left. What you want to do first is select into the housing selection place, and then it says select roommates. It's important that if you see here that it says for the term spring 2021, that it is likely showing you your current roommates. What you need to do is make sure that you switch this to fall 2021 so that you are doing this process specifically for next year. As you can see on this person's screen, they have no roommate requests yet, and they have no pending roommate requests yet. They're simply looking to add their first roommate request. So you do a drop down. You have the option to type in the student's first name and last name, or you may simply just type in the student's last name. Once you type in the last name, you can hit search. It will bring up, if there's more than one, it'll show you all of those options, but in this case, there is only one. And then this individual is requesting that person to be their roommate. At this time, the process is not completed. As you can see, the name is highlighted in yellow, and underneath it says unmatched roommates. At this point, there are future steps to take to ensure that this is a matched group. After the first student has had the opportunity to request student 2 to be their roommate, what's important then is for the second student to log in as well to their CNAV, to their My Housing, and they're going to go through the same steps. They're going to see the three bars at the top, select housing selection, select roommates, ensure that they change this to fall 2021, and they can see that they have a pending roommate request. And it was from the initial roommate that sent that request. They have an option at this point to view their profile, to match, or to decline that offer. In this case, these students want to live together next year, and they've had this discussion beforehand, and they've chose to match. As you can tell now, this is no longer a pending roommate request, and now this is truly the match. What this says at this point is that your roommate group is fully matched, and it shows you who your roommate is. These two students now would have the opportunity to be able to view how many double bedrooms were available on campus for them to live in. They would not be able to view any triples or apartments, but only double rooms. Now that we've already had the opportunity to walk through what it looks like to select one roommate, we're now going to look at the scenario in which a group of people would need to select more than one roommate. Again, this would be if you're looking at any of the triples on campus, or you're looking at a specific apartment that you would like to request rooms for. What's important to remember is that the total number of matched students is the only spaces you'll be able to see in the housing selection process. So if you match 4 students, you will only be able to see 4-person apartments, and so on. We've returned back to the CNAV My Housing page to begin the selection of multiple roommates. Again, very standard, simple advice is that all students who plan to live together are required to go through this process in order to make sure that it is a matched group. What we have found in the past is that often becomes one of our biggest areas of concern is when students do not fully match their group. You'll be able to tell when your group is matched just by simply looking at if it is matched or not on the screen. But we're back at the drop-down list here, doing housing selection, selecting roommates, again ensuring that you move to fall 2021, and then we go back to our roommate search. In this case, the group of students is looking for a triple. So they go through the same process of searching for the students they would like to request. And they've requested it. So student 1 has done their part. They have requested 2 of the other roommates. Now it's going to be the responsibility of student 2 and student 3 to make sure that they log into their CNAV housing and do the same. We're now viewing student 2's CNAV My Housing page. Click the drop down, select roommates, fall 2021, and you can see that they have 1 pending request, even though previously on the other screen, you saw that student had put in 2 names. What the student 2 needs to make sure that they do is they agree to match the 1 request that they have, and then they still need to search for their 3rd roommate and place that request. As you can tell looking at this screen, student 1 and student 2 are now matched, but they still need to request student 3 to reach out and make sure that they also agree to live with the other 2 people. We've now logged into student 3's CNAV My Housing page, going to select roommates, fall 2021, and you can see that this student has 2 pending requests. So they would like to match the first request and then match the second. When that is completed, you can see now that the roommate group is fully matched. Student 1, student 2, and student 3 have all requested each other and agreed to live with each other. When they go through the housing selection process, they will be able to see all 3-person rooms across the campus that are available. If you're looking for a 4-person apartment, a 5-person apartment, and so on, you would need to complete these steps for each of the residents that are living there. Regardless of the type of rooms that are inside of the apartment, each apartment is treated as one roommate matching group, so make sure that everybody has the opportunity to go in and match. Again, we would like to provide the advice that doing this prior to housing selection often allows for the smoothest opportunity to select which room you have. You can do this prior to your selection time that's listed, as you have a week to start matching your roommates. At any time, if you have questions during this, always feel free to call Residence Life or send them an email, as they can provide that assistance for you as you go through the roommate matching process. Thank you for listening. Feel free to reach out again if you have any questions, and continue to watch this video if you still have concerns about how to select a roommate for the fall of 2021.